Spermatogenesis and oogenesis are both forms of gametogenesis, in which a diploid gamete cell produces haploid sperm and egg cells respectively. Oogenesis. Oogenesis occurs in the outermost layers of the ovaries. As with sperm production, oogenesis starts with a germ cell, called an oogonium. But this cell undergoes mitosis to increase in number, eventually resulting in up to 1 to 2 million cells in the embryo. Oogenesis. The process of oogenesis occurs in the ovary's outermost layer. A primary oocyte begins the first meiotic division but then arrests until later in life when it will finish this division in developing follicle. This results in a secondary oocyte which will complete meiosis if it's fertilized.
This second cell is called a polar body and usually dies. A secondary meiotic arrest occurs, this time at the metaphase stage. At ovulation, the secondary oocyte will be released and travel toward the uterus through the aviduct. If the secondary oocyte is fertilized, the cell continues through the meiosis too, completing meiosis, producing a second polar body and a fertilized egg containing all 46 chromosomes of a human being, half of them coming from the sperm.
The cell starting meiosis is called a primary oocyte. This cell will begin the first meiotic division but be arrested in its progress in the first prophase stage. At the time of birth, all future eggs are in the prophase stage. At adolescence, anterior pituitary hormones cause the development of a number of follicles in an ovary. This results in the primary oocyte finishing the first meiotic division. The cell divides unequally, with most of the cellular material and organelles going to one cell called a secondary oocyte, and only one set of chromosomes and a small amount of cytoplasm going to the other cell.
We're going to talk about spermatogenesis, which is the process of creation and maturation of a sperm. I'm a sperm. And the first step is the maturation and creation of the sperm in a testicle. This is a testicle and I'm a sperm. And the time of this process is 1 day or two, that recuperation of sperm and count of the same. All this process occurs inside the seminifer tubes that are inside a testicle, and they have three phases: the prophyletic, the meiotic, and the spermagenesis. Then I'm going to move to the seminifer tubule, and there mature and have a tail. This tail is going to help me to move to the ovum. When I have a tail and I'm mature enough and have the quality I will have, I'm going to be expulsed by an ejaculation and fecund an ovum. Sperm in the process of fecundation.
Meiosis begins with a cell called a primary spermatocyte. At the end of the first meiotic division, a haploid cell is produced called a secondary spermatocyte.
This haploid cell must go through another meiotic cell division. The cell produced at the end of meiosis is called a spermatid. When it reaches the lumen of the tubule and a flagellum or tail grows, it is called a sperm. 4 sperm result from each primary sperm cell that undergoes meiosis. Stem cells are deposited during gestation and are present from birth to early adolescence, but in an inactive state. During adolescence, gonadotropic hormones from the anterior pituitary cause the activation of these cells and the production of the viable sperm. This continues into old age.